What's going on, everybody? Brian from Big Good Gaming here, and we are back. It's been a while since I've done one of these. I have a deck tech to share because I just recently went 4-1 at the TrueChampsGames Thursday night event with, you guessed it, X-Antibody. So I'm happy to declare that my terrible tournament streak is over. I finally had a halfway decent run, and by halfway decent, I mean I almost took it all down. Ended up 4-1, and yeah, I'm super excited to share the list. I've been playing X-Antibody for weeks now, hoping to, crack the code, and thankfully, big shoutouts to Corey Edwards, who came in 5th at the Too Many Games Philadelphia Regional with X-Antibody, so I took some inspiration from his list, and I, tweaked it to my own personal preferences, and I took it to TrueChamp Games, and it worked out pretty well for me. So let's go over the deck tech. As always, we start 4 Dories. I know there's some people who like Kyokyo-mon. Full transparency, I have yet to try Kyokyo-mon. I think the extra 1k could be relevant. There are definitely worlds where you could justify having Kyokyo-mon. There's even a world where you could justify having a 5th egg, just period. But I think the extra draw of a Dory is way too important to consider missing out on it. Because then in a world where your good stack doesn't need an extra DP boost and you really want to draw that extra card, you don't have that opportunity, and I feel like that could put you behind. So easy peasy, 4 eggs. We're going to go into the rookies. So as expected with the X-Antibody, we play every single X-Antibody we can. So 4 Dorus, 4 Ryutas, and in terms of our tech rookies, we've got 2 Chumons and 2 Sonorizas. So these are pretty easy to explain. Ryuta and Doru, they're both searchers. They both get an X-Antibody Digimon, as well as getting their respective tamers. Doru gets your memory tamer, and Ryuta gets your Yuji, which is like the bond tamer, but for X-Antibodies. So can't play less than 4 of each. They're necessary for the deck. Quick tip: I always find myself, if I have the option between the two, I always want to put Doru in raising and hard play the Ryuta, mainly because Dorumon's inherited ability is so good. The inherited of once per turn, when one of your effects places a Digivolution card under this Digimon, gain a memory. It's just so powerful, and sometimes it lets you extend your plays. You could go to 0 and add something, and then if you have 2 Dorus, you gain 2 memory, and now you have memory for hybrid for game. Dorumon is such a powerful Digimon to have in your stack. So like in that vein, Ryutamon just makes more sense to hard play. Plus, I want to see my Yujis. Yuji is a big part of like the engine of the deck, especially with Oryumon, which we'll get to later. But I always want to see Yuji, so any chance I get to try to find him, I want to take that chance. Sure, if that means I bought him a Coda, so be it. There are ways to gain memory, like Dorumon gains memory, Yuji gains you memory, and sometimes they'll just put you at a good amount of memory, and you can just kind of go off from there. But missing out on Yuji really hurts, because not having that constant source of adding something to trigger these inherited effects really can put you behind, and a couple turns of that and you just, there's no way to win. So 4-4, really easy. Down here, I gone back and forth for a while. I settled on Chumon at 2 of. It used to be 4 Sonorizas. There were some lists that would play just 4 Sonoriza. They didn't care about the memory choker. I think the way the meta is shaping up today, with memory boosts galore, Hammer Spark is everywhere, Blue Hybrid hasn't gone anywhere. Hate to say it, sorry guys, Blue Hybrid's still here to stay. So unfortunately you have to be ready. You don't want to have 5 swings on one guy and start swinging, and then you hit 2 Hammer Sparks and your turn's done before you get to wipe out their security. Like that's a really bad time, and that's just gonna make you feel really, really dumb for not making the space for him. Sonorizamon is fine. For the most part, he should always get you the extra security. So that's why he's at 2. There are other things, maybe like Chikurumon or Toyagumon, but in terms of like just the most generic and powerful black rookie, like Sonorizamon is probably the best bet. Also, he's cheaper than he used to be. I know he was a $40 card. I know I got my copies at like 20 something, 30. I think he's gone down a bit since then. If not, let me know. But he's not as expensive as he used to be, so he's definitely worthwhile maybe getting a couple copies. But yeah, that's it. 12 rookies. Sometimes I wish I had maybe like one more rookie, but that's just that's not very possible with the way the deck is built. I feel like for X-Antibody, space is super tight, and you know, every card you add that isn't X-Antibody needs to be there for a really, really good reason. Otherwise, you're kind of just making your deck weaker. But let's go ahead and into the level 4s. We've got 4 Darugas, 4 Ginryus, and 2 Grumbles. The argument that I gave for the rookies, I'll give for the champions. 4 and 4, like it's simple. You want X-Antibodies in the deck, so you can't really cut any of them. But Ginryumon has been so good ever since it came out. I knew it would be good, but I had no idea how much I wanted this in my stack. Being able to block is fantastic. Also, being a 6K is, you know, not irrelevant. So making it bigger than some of the other champions in case you need to get aggressive, say your hand's not shaping out. Knowing that you have a 6K body, you can swing over, say they get aggressive, you know, pop one of their rookies so they don't keep pressuring you. It's a really good time. Darugamon also plays a great part in the deck. He's really good at adding that extra 1K. So, you know, spoilers for playing the Alphamon package. So having a Darugamon, or having 2 Darugamons, if you get 2 Darugamons in the stack with Alphamon, you don't have to worry about pumping him as much. You can pump him much less than you normally would, and you guarantee the Sunnerizamon trigger if you have 2 Darugas. Even if you have 1. If you have 1 Daruga, you spend 1 in memory to get him to 13k, which activates Sunneriza. And then you have to spend less memory, because in your 13, you spend 2, you get him to, what, 14? 14 is bigger than all the level 6s, and outside of a couple level 7s, you're safe for the most part. So for 2 memory, it gets you out of the way of that pesky level 6 slot. So, fantastic. These 2 are so good. I've noticed in BT9, you play less and less of, like, Ginryumon, which is a shame because the blocker is so good, but obviously we get better pieces, so I'm going to enjoy him as much as I can. And obviously down here we've got Mr. Hybrid for game, Grumblemon. He's fantastic. Bandai, give me Altar Grumblemon, pretty please. I need that in my life. This card's so good. Every deck, I feel like every deck should have hybrid, some number of hybrids in their deck. I play a couple of memory boosts, so I'm okay with just 2. Again, same reason, or the same justification. Only 12 rookies, only 10 champions. You know, you do dig quite a bit in your deck, and you do have a couple memory boosts to try to iron out those draws. But yeah, Grumblemon is fantastic. I could never go down to 1 Grumblemon unless I absolutely had to for whatever reason. 2 is the sweet spot. I feel like 3 is maybe a little too much. You don't want to get caught with too many Grumblemons in your hand instead of an X-Antibody level 4. So I feel like 2 is absolutely perfect. Sometimes you have to bottom one of them, so you know at least there's a chance you have another one at the top. And I try to grab it with boost as much as I can, unless I absolutely need some other slot. So like if I'm just looking for extra cards to put in my hand with memory boost, if I see Grumblemon, it's absolutely the first thing I take. Like, no questions asked. Because you're playing 7 Tamers, or no, you're playing 6 Tamers, which is still a good amount. So 6 Tamers, having 2 hybrids is, I think it's a good ratio. Alright, so level 5s are super easy. It's just 8 of them. It's just 4 Dorugray, 4 Hisaryu. There's not much to say. Hisaryu is actually, like, just like Ginryumon, put in so much work. His ability of when one of your effects places a Digivolution card under this Digimon, you may Digivolve this Digimon into a Digimon card in your hand with X-Antibody and its traits by paying the Digivolution cost. When this Digimon could Digivolve with this effect, reduce the Digivolution by 1. So, the plays of where you have Yuji out there, where you go, promote Hisaryu, or you promote your Ginryu, and say you have a Tamer out, so you start at 3, you go up to 4, you go into Hisaryu, you're down to 1, right? You swing, activate Yuji, put something under him, turn him into, like, say an Alphamon, that costs 2, 1, 2, boom, you set your opponent to 1, you swing with Alphamon. If you swing into a Digimon, and it'll survive, you get your 2 back, so guess what, you now have an Alphamon, you're back at 1, and you can still keep going, and when your turn ends, for whatever reason, reboot. Hisarumon giving reboot is so good. It gives this extra layer of protection to your level 6. So not only does Ginryu let you have extra protection for your security, but Hisaryu has protection for your Digimon. It's super powerful. I've been loving every time I see Hisarumon. And what can I say about Doru Grey? They're giving me Altar Doru Grey one of these days, and I'm super happy about it. Extra security. Obviously, this guy, seeing him in multiples is great. Because once you get like 1 or 2 of them, say you have a Sunoriza and like 1 Doru Grey, that's 3 checks automatically. Like, say you have the Alphamon or you can Oryumon combo, that's the whole security stack, right? 1 Sunoriza, 1 Doru Grey, and 1 Oryumon in the same stack. Alphamon swinging for your whole stack, and there's not much you can do about it. Like, Doru Greymon's powerful, and not only is the pressure from his inherited great, but being able to promote and go into Doru Grey, giving that protection. If they ever give you too much memory, like say they put you to 3, you have your Yuji and you have a memory boost, right? So you're at 3. You promote, you Doru Grey, put a thing under, give him protection. You're at 0. Now you're at 4. Because you were at 3, go up to 4 with Yuji, go into Doru Grey, down to 1, crack memory boost, now you're back at 3, and now you have an Alphamon. So you go Alphamon on top of that stack, so not only is he swinging for extra security checks, but he's also protected from Doru Grey's ability of when Digivolving, you may place 1 black card with X-Antibody and its traits from your hand to the bottom of the Digimon's Digivolution cards to prevent effects from deleting it or reducing its DP until the end of your opponent's next turn. That's the big key. Not only does this protect your guy, but it protects your guy for the entire turn cycle. So if you go, alright, cool, I protect my guy, and whether or not you do the Alphamon shenanigans or not, passes over the turn. They go, alright, cool, whatever, that was fun, you won't die to security, I'll just Wyvern Spread your guy, keep going. You can't do that. He has to wait a whole turn cycle for this ability to wear off, and it's just really good. So you can't be popped by spot removal or board wipes or any of those shenanigans for that whole turn cycle. And which, like I said, if you have enough memory to go Digivolve into Doru Grey, Digivolve into Alphamon, and just apply a bunch of pressure, it can spell like a bad time for your opponent, maybe even win you the game on that turn. So yeah, 8 level 5s. There's no reason to play any other ones. Obviously, we'll be getting the Dex Dorus, and that'll be a good time in its own right. Now for the level 6s, we've got 3 Alphamons, 4 Oryumons, and 2 Chaosmons. Remember, I was telling you this, I took inspiration from good old Corey Edwards, I believe his name was. Let me see, make sure I don't butcher it. Yeah, Corey Edwards came in 5th with X-Antibody. So shout out to Corey for making this incredibly big brain play of adding Chaosmon into the deck. Because this thing, single-handedly, it ruins D-Reaper's day. So, but let's go here first. So Alphamon, Oryumon. You might be noticing there are no Dorugoromons. Normally when I play X-Antibody, this right here, that's 2 Dorugoras, and this is usually the lineup. And I've been doing it for a while. I guess I'm really partial to Dorugora. I think it's a fantastic card, and I definitely think it has applications. But seeing Corey's list and seeing he just went full Alphamon combo, I had to give it a shot. I dabbled with it before, and it was okay. It felt good. There were moments where I missed having the Dorugora, like multi-Digimons, like the mini board wipe effect. Like it was really good, and sometimes I would miss it. But having Alphamon and Oryumon, like this combination, you have any amount of extra security in that stack, and it's just a really good time for you, because every time you swing at the end of attack, you gain 2 memory, because it's not a once per turn. Gain 2 memory, you unsuspend, you swing, you gain 2 more memory. So being able to unsuspend your Alphamon and going for these multiple swings not only applies good pressure to your opponent, but also lets you potentially extend your plays. And that's just dangerous, because you give yourself more room to play a couple more Tamers, or play a memory boost looking for your hybrid, or just going for hybrid for game, right? Or it also gives you a bunch of memory, so when you go into Chaosmon, you don't give them that much more memory. And this card is, I've loved Chaosmon since BT4. Every chance I could play it, I had to try. He hasn't been super popular lately, which, you know, it makes sense, but having this opportunity now, because it does something that this deck can't normally do, which is handle Mother D Reaper. Obviously, the best answers to Mother D Reaper, because you can't be touched by your card effects, right? So you can't suspend it, you can't bounce it, you can't kill it. The only way you can deal with it is if you attack into it, and you can't attack into it normally because it doesn't suspend. So being able to attack unsuspended Digimon has been pretty much just a red luxury. Obviously, Black or Greymon can have a field day with their Metal Greymon inherited, but other decks don't really have an option other than Chaosmon. So when I saw it in the list, I immediately knew, oh hey, it's for the D Reaper matchup, and I think it's fantastic. And also, it does have its applications in other situations. So like, for example, say Oryumon's my guy. You know, I activate his effect, he's a 14k, I swing, I do my shenanigans, you know, I hit for however many. Then I go into Chaosmon, he'll unsuspend, and because he'll retain the 2k boost that Oryumon gave him, Oryumon gave himself a 2k boost with his ability. So that 2k boost stays on to Chaosmon. So Chaosmon will swing into Mother D Reaper, which is naturally a 15k on your turn, because the Searcher boosts only affect the D Reaper player's board on their turn. So Mama is just a 15k, which means she's not big enough to withstand the onslaught of Chaosmon, and it's just really good, you know. And if you're gaining memory with Alphamon, sometimes you're not giving them 6. Sometimes you give them just their 2 or their 3 if they have a memory tamer, which is incredibly powerful. And I shout out to my D Reaper opponent. I actually played against D Reaper on Thursday. Game 1, I pulled out, you know, I swung for a bunch, and then I Chaosmoned his Mother D Reaper, and he just went, "Does that really work that way?" I go, "Yeah, that's how it works. That's why it's in the deck. It's that good." He goes, "Okay, game 2." You just, you know, scooped him up. You know, it is that powerful. Like, obviously it's not an X-Antibody card, so you don't get the benefits from any of the X-Antibody inheriteds. You do still get the bonus from Tsunorizumon, so like there is still that, because it's naturally 14k. So if you have Tsunorizumon in that stack, you can still apply a good amount of pressure, since you can pierce into things. Yes, since you can pierce, it applies 2 checks while also clearing the board, so that's really good. But yeah, no, this is a really awesome change, and I'm gonna keep giving this setup a shot. I do miss Doragora. Maybe there is a world where I make space for like a 1 of Doragora, just for the utility of it. But obviously, when BT9, you know, the Alphamon show comes into town, it'll just be Alphamon all day, every day. But until then, I may make some room for Doragora, but this served me very well on Thursday, so I have no reason to believe that it won't serve me well again. But yeah, that's 7 level 6s, 2 level 7s. This also gives me a reason to hunt down the alt-art Chaosmons, because they are also gorgeous. And I feel like I've said this before, but I love me some alt-arts and some max rarity. It is definitely my jam, so one of these days, these 4 will be beautiful alt-art Oryumons, and those rookies, as expensive as that will be, they will be alt-art, and I will be broke but happy. Trust me, one day, one of these days. But we're almost done here. We just got 4 Yugis, 2 Kodas. This is one of the hard choices I had to make with this deck. I needed to make a little wiggle room for some cards that I wanted, obviously Chaosmon being one of them, and some other cards I'll get to in a bit. So I had to play around with what I'm willing to cut. Obviously, you don't want to cut any of your Digimon, because having X-Antibody is so important. The Tech Digimon, you can't really get lower than them. Like Chaosmon, the whole point of this new version was to make space for Chaosmon, so I had to make some sacrifices. One of the sacrifices was Koda. So Koda is great. Obviously, he's your memory setter. He has the on-play reveal top 4, add an X-Antibody Digimon to your hand, and rest to the bottom. So it's like a Davis. It's X-Antibody Davis. It looks at 4. I think Davis one looks at 3. So it looks at one more card, picks any X-Antibody Digimon, puts it in your hand. It's fantastic. Plus it sets you to 3. So being at 3 is super important in the deck. Obviously, it's good to be at 3. However, I feel like you go through enough of your deck that you see it, and if it's in security, you know, they play it, you get your memory setter, and you're good to go. I feel like I sometimes wish I had the third, but I think it was a necessary evil to make room for the other cards. There are some options that I might want to cut for the third coda. We'll see how things go if I do more testing on it. But for now, 2 is always as low as I feel comfortable with. Yuji's a 4 of. I made the mistake of playing 3 Yujis at the Philly regionals. Never again. Every time I wish I had a Yuji, I never saw a Yuji. And just not having that 4th Yuji, I really felt it. So, not playing any more games. I refuse to go down to less than 4 Yujis. He's so good. He's basically the Bond Tamer from Agumon, Gabumon decks. Your turn when one of your Digimon with X-Antibody and its traits is moved from your breeding to the battle area, gain a memory, draw a card. Disgusting. It's what you want. You want to gain more memory to set up for your big plays. You want to draw an extra card so you have extra things to put under with your turn effect, which is when one of your black Digimon with X-Antibody and its traits attacks, you may suspend this Tamer to place 1 card with X-Antibody and its traits from your hand under that Digimon as a bottom Digivolution card. So he basically fuels himself. You know, you put your stack up, draw a card, gain some memory, you swing, you suspend Yuji, add something in there. Remember when I told you the whole point of the Hisaryumon thing? You know, you swing with Hisaryu, suspend your Yuji, stick a Doorway to Digivolve, or more importantly, you stick an Oryumon. Basically, you stick an Oryumon under Hisaryumon to Digivolve into Alphamon, and boom, you've got your second attack, you've got your extra memory, God knows what else you have in your stack. Like, Yuji is such a powerful engine piece, essentially we'll call it. It's such a powerful card for this deck. I'll never make the mistake of going less than 4 again, trust me. Until BT9, where you have to make room for other things like Cool Boy, I think it is, and just other good cards. So, that's it. 6 Tamers. It's more than enough for Grumble for game. But like I said, I might make some space for the third one. So, last cards in the deck, guys. We've got 2 SR Eugens, 2 Black Memory Boost, and 1 Breath of the Gods. So the numbers are a little wonky. He wasn't actually playing this option lineup. I said when I told you I made some slight modifications for my own personal preference. That was one of them. He did only have 1 Memory Boost. He had no Breath of the Gods. He played, if I'm not mistaken, he was playing Brave Metal. He's playing some number of Brave Metal, which I was thinking about it, and I don't think I personally like Brave Metal as much as he did. I don't know if he did a deck tech on it. I didn't see him do like a detailed deck explanation for his deck. You know, maybe he has like a good reason for Brave Metal, and maybe if I heard it, I'd be like, oh yeah, that makes a lot of sense. But in my opinion, SR Eugen's fantastic. De-Digivolving is such a powerful effect when you've got a lot of powerful like level 6s or level 5s, right? You know, if they get aggressive with their Metal Greymon in Blackboard Ray, and you get to SR Eugen, get rid of that Metal Greymon. That's one less Metal Greymon they have to deal with. That gives their Blackboard Greymon the ability to attack your stack. Sure, they can Chimeramon and get it back, but they have to get there. They have to draw the Chimeramon. And also sometimes you can do double duty because SR Eugen, it has a main De-Digivolve 1, and then you can place a card with X-Antibody and its traits from your hand to the bottom Digivolution card of one of your black Digimon with X-Antibody in it to pop something that's play cost 4 or less. So sometimes, if they get really aggressive with their champion, you can just, for 4, De-Digivolve it, put something under your stack, and then pop the rookie. Or sometimes, if they have a rookie and something else, get De-Digivolve it, and then just pop the rookie. It's fantastic. Plus, adding something to your sources, it's just a different way, you know, to trigger your Dorumons, to add things to the stack to make sure, you know, you've got the perfect tower going. Like, if it only De-Digivolved, I'd probably be less inclined to play it, but being able to also just put something in your stack is fantastic. Plus, I wanted more security interaction, right? I cut the SR Eugens before, and I had like 3 Breath of the Gods, and Breath of the God is a powerful card. It is good against certain matchups. It's good against yellow. oddly enough, I didn't see my Breath of the Gods, and I think because of that, I didn't win the matchup against Yellow. Yellow Hybrid was my only loss on Thursday. Oddly enough, I feel like it's a pretty good matchup otherwise. But I didn't miss Breath of the Gods, but I needed to make space for some actual removal, and I think this is the best we have because the A-cost removal is a little too situational, and it doesn't do enough against certain decks. So, Mr. Eugen, great card. I'm glad it's back in the deck. Mem Boost, I think you need some level of Mem Boost. He only played one. I'd feel a lot more comfortable with 2 black boosts because if you see your 1 black boost in security, cool, you have a little more wow. You have a little more memory, but being able to search is powerful because it lets you unbrick from certain hands. Yes, you do have the mulligan for, I think it's the Ultimate Cup, so people who are prepping for Ultimate Cup, they do get to mulligan. But without mulligan, this is even more important. So I think having at least 2 is good for me. Like I don't think I'd feel comfortable going down to 1. I did have it at 3, but obviously, you know, have to make sacrifices for certain things. So black boost, fantastic card. Hagurumon art is beautiful. The alt art is the full art's really good, but I don't know if I could give up my boy Hagurumon. So we'll see. And then just the last card on the deck, 1 Breath of the Gods. This could be the 3rd Coda. I was going back and forth on it. Maybe I should just, you know, let go of like the little 1-ofs and just be as consistent as I can be. I kept it in. It didn't hurt when I needed it and I didn't see it. It was a little unfortunate. Maybe wish I had more. But other than that, it's good. I recalled using it more for its reboot than anything else. Like I think I used it to reboot one of my guys because I didn't have a Saryumon out there. So like that part's also good, and being able to protect from DP reduction. DP reduction is pretty prevalent, especially with things like not even just yellow hybrid, but Rapidmon could be in green decks, Chimeramon could be anywhere. You know, the random Sylphimon decks, you know, it could shrink some of your guys, and you know it's a bad time. So being able to protect from DP reduction is super important, especially when you built 1 tower and you have the one guy that's all you're working with. So being able to just protect him from something like Wyvern's Breath or Eden's Javelin and stuff like that, and that way you get super aggressive and you don't get punished for it, it's fantastic. So there's a world where I maybe just want more than 1, but for now 1 is all I can fit. But yeah, that's it, guys. That is X-Antibody. Like I said, I think I ended up in 6th place. It wasn't the biggest tournament that I've been in, but it's still good. Still worked hard for all my matchups, and 4-1 feels really good. It's been a while since I've had a decent result with X-Antibody, so I'm definitely gonna take it. And yeah, I think that's gonna be it for me. I know it's been a while since I did a deck tech. I posted the prizes. I opened surprises not too long ago, but it's been a while since I did a deck tech, and I miss it. And obviously, if you watch my streams, you know I haven't streamed it in a while. I don't stream often anymore, but that's just because I got a new job. You know, I'm trusting that this job is worth putting the content creation on hold for a little bit. So that's just what I'm gonna do. You know, I'm gonna grind hard at work, figure out my schedule. Once the schedule's back intact, I can get back to creating content like I want to. But in the meantime, you know, I'll stream every once in a blue moon when I can, and try to maybe make more deck techs. You know, I don't have the money to buy every card and paper, but DigimonCard.dev is a wonderful resource, and I might just do like some theory crafting deck techs and stuff like that. But if you like the video, do me a big favor, give me a big old thumbs up. Make sure you follow the channel so you know whenever I make another video. God knows when I'll do that, but when I do, you'll be the first to know. And other than that, thank you so much for hanging out, guys. Appreciate it. See you sometime on the stream. Don't forget, never forget to take care of yourself, don't forget to love each other, and never stop gaming. See you next time.